Hey guys, and welcome to the tutorial we're going to take you through about how to use the ideal week planner. So you've probably got to this video by clicking the link that is in the document that was sent across. And what we're going to do is I'm going to go through a live demonstration on how to use the ideal week planner in order to be able to maximize your time and therefore actually get around to all those things you keep meaning to do, but you never seem to have the time to do. So this is Jay. Jay is one of my clients. We had a chat recently and realized we need to reorganize his day slightly. He was starting to prioritize training over some of the other important aspects of his life. So we need to now rebalance out that equation so that he's able to get the stuff done around the house that he needs to, spend time with his daughter, and obviously get all the work commitments, etc. in. So Jay works for one of the emergency services. So his rota is going to look slightly different. I'm also going to do one of these videos with somebody who's more like a 9-to-5 worker, and then somebody who's basically shift pattern is all over the place, so that you guys all have different tools so that you can work with different rota patterns. So first thing we're going to do is we're going to establish your rota. So I believe you do 4 on 4 off, don't you, Jay?
No, it's 6 on 4 off.
6 on 4 off. So you have, is it 2 earlies, 2 lates, and then 2 nights?
Basically, yeah.
Okay, so what are the hours for the 2 earlies?
The earlies are very easy ones, 7 till 5.
7 till 5. The lates?
Lates vary, normally 2 or 3 o'clock till midnight, unless it's a Friday, Saturday, but then it gets complicated.
Yeah, and then nights?
Nights, usually 11 till 7.
So what we're just doing here is we're taking the average. Obviously, what we're trying to do here is create a roadmap or a plan for, like, if stuff is within its normal routine. There's always going to be situations where the routine is thrown out, in which case, yes, you're going to have to adapt to that on the fly, but you want to try to keep it as structured as possible. So that runs over a 10-day cycle then. So you've got 4 days off after that, don't you?
Yeah.
Okay. So that's 7 days. We need 1 more on here. Left. Okay. So what we will do is, rather than run this Monday to Friday, you're going to have early, early, late, late, night, night, day off. 2. Oh. 4. Okay, so the sleep wake cycles aren't going to be normal, so your days will sometimes run later and start earlier. So this is where the individuality of it comes into play, just because your 24 hours are going to look slightly different to somebody who does like a 9-to-5.
Mm.
So it's going to be 12 a.m. Yep, that's worked well. And then 10. So we've got to run yours through all the hours basically of the day. Whereas your average person, if they're on a 9-to-5, they wake up at 7 a.m. every morning, they go to bed at 11 p.m. every night. They don't need to kind of extend these out. They can literally just run it from when you wake up to when you go to bed. So on the early, we are, where's work? So the early, we are from 7 till 5. So we're going to block that out as work. Work.
That's 7 till 7.
Oh, 7 till 7.
That's what it's showing. It's 7 till 5.
Sorry. 7 till 5. And then the lates normally it's 2 till 12. And then nights was 11 till 7. Wait, have I done that right?
7 till 5, 2 till midnight.
And this would be, so you're working until 7 a.m. and then that first day off is like a recovery day, isn't it?
Yeah.
Got 4 days off. Okay, that's fine. So because you're a shift worker and your work hours won't move, like you have to block those in first. Those are a non-negotiable. So the 3 main non-negotiables that you've got is family time, health, and then work and business. So these are the things we kind of want to plan in first. So obviously on nights, you're probably not going to train, I'm guessing, because you're working through the night. I'm guessing you're going to be sleeping mostly through the day. So if you've just come off a night, what sort of time will you tend to sleep till?
I try, to be honest, I try and get 8 hours. So normally get up between 2 and 4. But with Alex goes to bed around 9. So normally if I'm on a 11 o'clock start rather than a 9 o'clock start, I will actually go to the gym at 9 o'clock.
Okay. Well, 9 p.m. here.
Yeah.
Okay. So on a early, I'm guessing you'll go to bed, what, about 10?
At the latest, yeah.
Okay. And then what time do you tend to wake up? Obviously, Lillian, depending. 7?
That's on a early going into a late.
Yeah.
Still probably up about 8, 9 o'clock because of Lillian.
I'm looking at the wrong day. Right. So early going into an early, what sort of time will you wake up?
About 5:30.
Oh, I've got an extra slot here. Oops. Right, let's move all these down. Okay, I'm making this harder than it needs to be. Okay, so you wake up about 5:30. What about when you're going on to a late?
On a late, probably wake up about 8 o'clock, 9 o'clock.
And then would it be the same when you're going from a late to a late?
A late to a late, yeah.
Okay, and then what about a late to a night?
A late to a night, I try and stay up all night when I get home from work. So
okay.
I don't always make it, but I'd say I'll probably in bed about 4 or 5 o'clock till about midday-ish, till try and stay in bed as long as possible. So probably about midday, 2 o'clock.
Okay. Okay, so we've got work and sleep in there. So as I said, because you're a shift worker, like it's important to kind of get those in. When is then your first day off? Do you try and have a normal sleep pattern then that night?
My first day off, I try and have as little sleep as possible. So I need some sleep to get through the day, but then to try and get myself back into a normal pattern. My first day off's normally a write-off for stuff like gym and that.
Yeah. So how many hours sleep would you say on average you get? So you get in at like 8 o'clock in the morning. Would you try and sleep till like lunchtime?
Probably till about 12 o'clock. I always if I'm still in bed by 2, Alex gets me up, but normally 12 is my target.
And then try to get back in bed for like 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock that night?
About 10 o'clock, yeah.
And then I'm guessing you're gonna try to get a normal light sleep till like 6.
Yeah, well, I normally get up when Leanne gets up, so yeah, about 8 o'clock.
You're lucky that she sleeps till 8.
I know. She slept till 10 the last 2 days.
Brilliant. Okay, so I'm guessing on your final day off, you try and get a normal night's sleep as well.
Yeah.
To then be up at 5:30.
Yeah.
Okay, so as you can see, we've blocked in those. So you've got your work and you've got your sleep. Like those are two pretty non-negotiables, and like they're not going to shift that much from week to week. Depending, obviously, those things move around with kind of like your shift pattern. So we're looking at health now. So when do you tend to like prep your food ahead of time?
I normally do that before I go to work. So I normally, just before I go to bed, do all the long cooking or defrosting, and then I will do the actual cooking in the morning while I'm getting ready for work.
Right. Okay. So do you cook your food every day so that it's fresh then?
I like cook my rice in a batch, cook my chicken in a batch. So I'll do like 1 or 2 days and then do another 1 or 2 days.
So which days, which of your shift days do you tend to do that? Is it on the early?
I normally do it on my last rest day.
Okay.
And then like my first late.
Last rest day. So again, what sort of time on your last rest day?
I don't really fit it in. I just when I'm free. If Alex is at work, I do it when she's at work. If it's a day off, it's around when we get back from being out. So probably in the evening normally.
In the evening. So say 4 p.m.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. And then what was the other day?
The other day is normally my first late. So it's before I go to work.
Okay.
So normally about 12 o'clock-ish.
Lunchtime-ish.
Yeah.
Okay. And is that enough for you, just having like 2 days where you prep food?
Yeah, because I find on my days off, especially I'm trying more now, and it worked the way it was before, was on my days off, me and Alex would have more meals together, and especially with her trying to be healthier now as well.
Okay.
We'll plan our days off together and eat meals together healthy.
Okay. So we've got food prep in there. Like what, say, because we said we're going to drop your gym time down to being 3 days a week again. Or was it 4 days a week you wanted to do?
I'm happy to do 4 days a week, and then with the weather being better, I'm planning on cycling to work more as well now.
Okay, so let's go. What colour should we do gym time? Blue's your favourite colour, isn't it?
Yeah. Red will make it stick out more.
We're going to change. I'm just going to do it this one, so that's your favourite colour. So what days, if you're training 4 days a week, what days will you tend to train? I'm guessing it's going to be your days off.
I never train my first day off.
No, that's fine.
Unless it's a bit of cardio here and there, but normally my first day off's a write-off.
Yeah.
Wednesdays now, I know it's done early nights, it's probably going to be a write-off as well, because that's the day I'm looking after Lillian whilst Alex is at work.
Yeah.
So it would normally be, I never normally train after, sorry, I'm going through it in my head. I always struggle after the first early.
Yeah.
Just because it's my first day back, I'm shattered. I normally like to train after my second early because I know don't have to be up early, so I don't feel the pressure.
And what sort of time do you tend to train on that?
I like to do it as soon as I get back from work. So my bum itches to see, I don't want to go in the gym.
Do you need an hour and a half?
I want to try and do it within an hour, but an hour and a half is not normally more realistic.
Okay. So first early, and then what was the other days that you tend to train? So you've got 4 days.
Yeah, lates. I've never seemed to have an issue with lates in the day.
So again, would that be just before work?
Yeah, it'd be before work. Sometimes on my second late going into the night, I'll do cardio after because it keeps me up a little bit.
Okay. And then again, what sort of time? So that'd be like 10 o'clock?
It'd be about 10 or 11, depending on if I'm a 2 or 3 o'clock start. So if we put in 10 o'clock.
10. Okay, so we don't need multiple. I keep forgetting how long these things are. They're an hour slot. They're not a half an hour slot. Yes, I've got another one of these where it's half hour slots. So when people want to go into more detail, so So that's gym, prep food. Your prep food's probably only going to be half that time, hopefully.
Yeah.
And then guessing after nights, you're not really wanting to train. And then which days on your days off would you tend to train?
Depending if it's a weekend or not. Normally, I'm happy to train most of them because it's my day off. As long as I schedule my time better.
And then do you prefer to train in the morning, lunchtime, or evening on your day off?
Normally when Lillian goes to bed, and she goes to bed about 1 o'clock, so it's probably best. It's got to fit it around her.
Because we're doing this over an 8-day cycle, rather than because we're doing this over a 10-day cycle, you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 slots in there. Because basically you'll chop and change. So obviously your 2 nights and your day off, you're probably not going to train. Whereas you've got a 3-day chunk here and then a 3-day chunk here. So some weeks you'll probably get 5 sessions in, other weeks you'll only get 3 sessions in.
Sometimes on nights, if Alex goes to bed at 9, I do go in the gym before work, so I find it wakes me up.
Yeah.
So it sounds like I do get a lot of gym time, but or on paper, but I actually don't, with things chopping and changing with a little one and stuff.
And that's just it. This is why you, as you said, you make a plan and then you work around that plan. But if you've got this on paper and you can say to Alex, look, I can give you, right, out of my work shifts, I'm committing to giving you and Lillian twice as much time as I get in the gym. It then means that she won't feel as bad than when you're going in, because you're showing, right, I'm going to give you guys family time of 2 to 3 hours each day that I'm off. I'm then going to set aside an hour to do like household tasks, whether that's whatever it is you guys decide it is to do, whether it's cleaning, whether it's cooking a meal for both you and Alex, kind of whatever it is. So you're then committing 4 times as much time to spending on the house as you are to yourself. She won't then feel like you're spending time away from her, because you're saying, look, I'm trying to plan this out so that in my head, I'm not trying to spin all these plates. I've got a plan on paper. And yes, sometimes life's going to get in the way. Sometimes Lillian's going to be ill, and therefore you're not going to be able to kind of go to the plan. But this is like my ideal week. It's like when if you were setting off to drive from here to London, you would stick it in the sat nav and there'd be an optimum route. When stuff happens and you have a bad day, that's like you've just hit roadworks on the A1 just outside Stamford. So you're then going to have to take a detour that's going to move you around that issue, and then you're going to try and get back onto plan as quickly as possible. Just because there is roadworks on the A1 doesn't mean that you don't plug into your sat nav, right, I want to go to London. It means that, right, I've got a plan to this point, then I'm going to have to change it slightly, and then I'm going to try and get back onto a plan as quickly as possible. If you don't have a plan to start off with, it's like setting off with no map, just a compass. Like, right, I know London's that way, and I will kind of get there eventually. Yes, you may get there eventually. However, it's going to be a hell of a lot harder than if you've got, right, at every roundabout, I need to do X, Y, Z. Does that kind of make sense?
Yeah.
Perfect. Oh, we already had training in there in orange. Okay. So let's change training in orange to, let's not call it housework. Let's call it life admin. So this could be things like tidying up. If it's been playtime with Lillian, it could be prepping food if it's your day kind of with Lillian. It could be just doing something nice, all those little tasks that your missus expects you to kind of do. So on your days off, what I would do is, right, we're going to book out like 2 to 3 hours to do it. You need to do at least twice as much time like of that, and then family time. So how's it going to be best for us to kind of structure this in your day? Let's start with your days off. I think your days off are going to be the easiest ones. So first day off, you've slept. You're probably not going to be that productive. Kind of as soon as you wake up, are you in the right mood to be having playtime, to be spending time with Alex, spending time with Lillian?
Best way to describe it on my first day off is I feel like someone out of The Walking Dead. It's one of them days which just gets written off, really, just a lazy day.
So would that be a good time then to not have anything that's particularly task focused? So you're probably not going to be in the best mind to be doing things like stuff around the house. It's probably going to be a good day to have as a pretty family time heavy day.
Yeah. I mean, the thing is with that day is if we go out and it's a day off or something, once you're out and about and the air hits you, it's not too bad.
Yeah. So it's going to be family time. I'm guessing, what time do you tend to eat your evening meal if you're eating together?
Depends on their working. Anywhere from 6 to 8 o'clock, really.
6. No. So let's call this family time meal. So I'm guessing on your days off, I'm just going to put it 6 till 7 just because it makes it easier. And then on your days off, do you help with bedtime at all, or is that Alex's role?
To be fair, we try and do it together.
Okay. So again, family time is going to be, so bedtime. So what time does bedtime routine start then for Lillian?
She goes to bed at 7. She eats her dinner at 5 and she goes to bed at 7.
Okay, so let's go.
And we don't have a set person who does it or not. We try and do stuff together. If one of us is busy, the other one does it.
And then Lillian, bedtime. Okie. And then like 8 till 9, if you're not, because you probably won't be training, that's going to be family time. I'm just going to put in brackets wife here. So spending time with Alex. So block that out, make that non-negotiable, get a film in, spend some time together. Like at the end of the day, you're now committing your first day off to it being that good quality time. Like, yes, you might feel like The Walking Dead. However, you're going to do your best to make sure that like that's a you, Alex, and Lillian day, because there's no gym on that day. You're not going to do that like at all. And I don't want you to put anything on that day, even a bit of cardio. Like make that a family priority day. And what I want you to do is show her this, that you're putting a plan into place to like make family time a priority, because it is a priority and it needs to kind of be booked in there. Right. So second day off, we're going to put some life admin in here. Are you better at doing these tasks early in the day to get them done? Or like, would you prefer to do them like after the gym time, after you've done what you want to do?
I'm probably not good at doing them either way. But probably best before, gets them done, doesn't it?
Right. Should we say 10 till 11?
Yeah.
Okay. So an hour each day of your days off is life admin. Ask your missus for some jobs to do, like, and just being proactive in doing that is going to get you a hell of a lot of brownie points in terms of, as I said, being proactive with it rather than reactive with it, rather than waiting for her to nag you to get stuff done. If you say, right, I'm blocking out like an hour each morning to help you with the house, what I need from you is a list of, say, between 3 and 5 tasks. So a minimum of 3, a maximum of 5. Because if it's any more than 5, you get disheartened because you're never going to get that list finished. And if it's any less than 3, then what you'll do is you'll procrastinate and you'll make that 1 or 2 tasks last a full hour when you could probably get it done in 20 minutes. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So again, this is going to be dependent on whether Lillian is off as well. but say that your days off don't fall on when Alex is at work. What I would say is before that, again, try and have some family time with you, Lillian, and Alex. Then life admin. Then I'm guessing before the gym, you're going to have your pre-workout routine. So it's not going to be an hour, it'll be about 15 minutes. But if I block out a 2-hour slot for gym, it means you can have your 15 minutes before, and if it takes you an hour and a half in the gym, it's better to book out too much time than not enough. If that makes sense?
Yeah.
So I'm going to do that for all of those. Okay, so the big three now are all blocked in. What I'm going to get you to do, how good are you with technology?
I'm all right. All right.
Okay. Have you seen what I've been doing here? I've been coming over to here to this key, pressing Control-C to copy, and then selecting the time slot that I want and doing Control-V to paste. So
Yeah.
all I've done is I've given you some structure to these big three. We've put your work in there, we've got your health things in there, and you've now got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17 hours of family time just on your 4 days off, 3 hours of life admin time, which probably you should be able to get plenty done in that. And you want to have another hour or 2 slots on days you're actually working. You can't just have it that you're only doing these things on your days off, because that won't fly with the missus doing 3 hours over a 10-day period. But like, you know your days inside out better. But can you see here how with those big things booked in, you've still got all this white space. Each one of these blocks is an hour. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48 hours to fill. And that's where you can do all that other busy work. I mean, we haven't incorporated your travel time in here, but also there's hour slots in front of each one of these work shifts. So I don't know how long it takes you to get to work. I think it's what, a 15-minute car journey?
No, not even that. It's about an hour if I'm going to cycle, because I'll cycle and have a shower when I get there.
Yeah. So there's the reason why we're running through this is just to show that people have a lot more time than they think. And if you genuinely can go through this and fill every single hour of your day with something productive, then I hold my hands up and go, you know what, you've not got enough time. Every single person I've gone through with this exercise realizes that actually their busy time is they are sat scrolling on Facebook. They're all watching Netflix in an evening. They're doing things that aren't helping them towards those goals that they set, all those things that they say that they want. However, sitting and watching an hour and a half of Netflix 7 days a week, like that's what, an hour and a half. So yeah, an hour and a half of Netflix 7 days a week is roughly 10 to 12 hours, about 12 hours of time. Imagine what you could do is if in that 12 hours you were prepping food and training 3 days a week. Like, you'd be halfway towards your dream physique in 12 weeks. So as I said, this is just an exercise to show that like people have a lot more time than they think. You're a shift worker, which is harder to manage time, especially if you're trying to do it all up here. So what I'm going to do is, as I said, I'm going to send you a copy of this. And what I want you to do is try and plan out the other 5 days and then come back to me with it, and then we can review it. And then once it's done, print it out and have it somewhere to refer to, so that you've got a skeleton structure for your day. And if after a couple of weeks you go, you know what, this isn't working, then what you need to go back and do is review it. And it might take 3, 4, 5 attempts to have a working structure that works. And then what then happens is that then becomes your routine, and you don't need to be working from the structure anymore because you've achieved the balance that you want. In order to achieve balance, you have to be mindful about where you are spending your time and actively make changes and actively change behaviors in there to get everything in that what you need to do. And then what you can then do is, right, if I wanted to bump my training up, right, where's going to suffer? I need to make sure it's not my family time. I need to make sure it's not my my work time, which is not going to be, because again, those are the big three. If you are having to bump up your training because your goals have changed, it's going to be coming out of another time that is your time for something that you want to do. So like a hobby or other things that you kind of do. So yeah, I'm going to stop the recording there.